It is a test of how he presents himself and to what extent he has a integrity of character.
We see in a candidate whether he is self-confident or not. Is he diffident? Is he confident? Can he maintain his stance? That is what we see in the candidate.
A candidate should be well aware about India's neighborhood because it impacts India's national interests.
And at the same time, that by and large, we try to approximate what can possibly be asked to him during the interview.
We try to gauge with what expectation he is coming. So, most important thing is how far is the date of interview. Date of interview will give us how much time he has to prepare himself for the personality test. And as the UPSC curriculum says, it is not a test of his knowledge, which is already done. It is a test of how he presents himself and to what extent he has an integrity of character. You see, no written test will assess the integrity of the character unless you put in some provoking questions to him. So we see what is his expectation and we try to fulfill what UPSC board will be asking from him. Thirdly, we don't expect him to be a PhD scholar. So, but suppose he is a student of physics, he should be thorough with the basic understanding of the physics and physical theories that he must know. So, for example, he must know Einstein's E is equal to mc square or general theory of relativity or special theory of relativity, the distinction between the two. So, we don't expect him to be a PhD scholar, but how far he has understood his subject and how he explains. So, there we will assess him and of course, how he will perform in a field situation. In district administration, all sorts of problems will appear before him, and also he has to perform in a secretariat environment. In both, he has to be assessed by UPSC, and we try to recreate the same environment for him and for the board. So that is the attempt. After assessing what expectation he is having, that is the through questions we try to assess that.
Briefly speaking, we try to assess the suitability of the candidate for a role in the civil service. We also try to grade the candidates as to what are his capabilities, to what is his potential, how far we can rely on him, and these are done through asking him questions on various attributes. We also try to assess him or her by asking him questions on general affairs, whether he's aware of the environment, whether he knows as to what he has studied, and more so whether he can apply the knowledge, the theoretical knowledge, to the practical aspects. These are the areas where we try to assess the candidates on. And I must also add at the same time that by and large, we try to approximate what can possibly be asked to him during the interview. Thank you.
We see in a candidate whether he is self-confident or not. Is he diffident? Is he confident? Can he maintain his stance? That is what we see in the candidate. Then we see how he handles the stress. Stress is something very natural which every candidate is likely to have because he knows it's an interview and he's being assessed. So how he handles the stress is very important for us to assess that point of view. Then comes to his demeanor. His demeanor has to be appropriate according to the requirement of the interview. And this is not the test of his knowledge. This is a test as to how he gives a response when he's under stress and when he doesn't know the answer. Every candidate may not know every possible thing and nobody knows that, but how he responds to that under stress when he doesn't know the answer, whether he meanders, whether he takes a guesswork or he's honest and says, sir, I'm not aware, I'll have to find out and read more on that. And these are the issues that we look at a candidate when he enters and he sits for the interview. Thank you.
A candidate should be well aware about India's neighborhood because it impacts India's national interest. So, the relationship with our neighbors, the problems that we have, and the possible solutions should be something that all the students who are appearing for this exam should be aware of. They should also look at what are the programs and policies being carried forward by the government so as to achieve India's national interest in international relation, as well as many of the major international unrest and trouble spots, as well as new developments, have the potential to impact India's national interest in varieties of ways. In a globalized world, no event can be excluded from India's national interest. Therefore, the student must be aware of major events that would impact India's national interest. Therefore, the relationship between India and the various countries in international affairs is very important for any interview.